Hey guys, Huzz here, bringing you another video, this time a Q&A video that I'm going to be doing monthly, as I stated last month. Now, this is going to be the June episode, and before we get into it, as the hat has made a return, if you want to have a question in next month's episode, you can do one of three things now. You either can follow my Facebook, and then occasionally, once a month, I'll ask for questions. You can reply to me on there. Twitter, the same thing, and also in the comments below. If a question is still relevant in a month, then I will look through the comments and pick a question out of the comments every here and there. But let's get into it. So these videos are normally about half an hour long. We've got quite a bit of questions in here. We've obviously got the Aviator cap for those who may be their first episode of this series. But this series focuses on League of Legends, other games, YouTube stuff, that type of thing. It's pretty much anything. But the majority of it is League. So let's dive into the hat. For question 1, all of these are user submitted by the Facebook and the Twitters. So this is from Anders. Oh, those are hard names. Anders Hollison Hansen. I've just butchered that name. I'm sorry. Best tactic to win solo queue: split push, team fight, etc. What's the best role for solo queue and difference between the ratings? So the best tactic to win solo queue, there isn't one best tactic. A lot of people go, play Tryndamere, split push, you'll die 10 times, but you'll be so annoying, your team can win the game while you're being annoying. There's not a best tactic. Pretty much just the best tactic is the best tactic for you. If you're good on a specific champion, play that champion. If you want to play it that way. It's just the best way that you possibly can do. As a overall thing, I'd always say have a good, strong team fighting team in solo queue, as well as rank 5s actually, because you'll find that a lot of people group. Some people don't, you get the occasional person that's like, now I'm staying bot lane and whatever, the annoying people, sure. But very often, I'd say in 8 out of 10 games, you're actually going in for team fights, and the game is decided by team fights. So definitely pick a strong team fighting team, honestly. Does that mean having all 5 champions with an AoE CC? No. That means maybe having 2 or 3 champions with like a good CC spell, a good AoE spell, something of that like. The best role for queue, again, if you're good at something, you can get Challenger in it. If you look at the Challenger series right now, is a mixture. You don't see all AD carry, all jungler, etc. It's a mixture. But I'd say the best that I've experienced is mid lane and jungle, just because you have the most map pressure. You can make most stuff happen. Like if you're in top lane, you're pretty much just like, if your team loses in the first 15 minutes, you're going to have a very hard time carrying it, and you probably won't. And the same with support, actually. Supports, if you've got not a very good AD carry, you're not going to be able to do as well. Where AD carries, if you have a bad support, you can still make stuff happen. You can still, farm, and you can still probably carry the game with mechanics. Difference between the ratings. So presume this is like, what's the difference between bronze and silver, gold and platinum, platinum diamond, all that type of thing. So there's like, if I can get them off the top of my head, there's like knowledge, skill is obviously one, time, and I can't remember the other one. I think that might be it. So knowledge, skill, and time. So knowledge is just knowing the game, knowing the builds, knowing what runes you're taking, know what masters you're taking, just knowing the game, like everything about the game you possibly can. Honestly, that's it. And a lot of people in bronze and that don't pay attention to that stuff at all. You see people in bronze have their most terrible builds. The other day, I was actually in Diamond. At the time, it was like Diamond 1 solo queue, because I was at promotion series, so I was playing with the people above me. I had an Ashe that said I never played AD carry. It was like, okay, fair enough, just play whatever, and she picked Ashe. She rushed iEdge. That hasn't happened since, I think, Season 2 on Ashe, and yeah, Ashe isn't even a pick anymore right now, and it's like, you're in Diamond and you don't know this stuff. So, yeah, just knowledge is one of them. Skill, with anything in life, if you could, football, let's say soccer for those who are American, you could know everything about the game. You could know the technique of how do I do this around the world. And then if you can't do it yourself, it's useless. So you have to be able to actually execute what you're wanting to do. If you can't execute it, then there's no point really knowing it. And if you're someone that knows everything and just can't execute it. That's what tends to be analysts or coaches. You know, that's what they're brilliant at. And, you know, never put down an analyst or coach for top teams. All teams need them. You know, Loco Doco was just signed for TSM, so they're always needed, and never underestimate a analyst or coach. And then finally, time. Again, like with an MMO, if you're the best DPS in the world on your class, but you don't have the time to actually get the gear to do the DPS, then it's pretty much useless. You know, you've got to put the time in research, in actually playing the game to actually get good at the game. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for the question. That was quite a long first question too, but there was kind of like 3 in 1. The next one is from Soren Karja Heldgard. Right. Who is in my team? So one thing I'll just quickly say before we get into this one is if I've had any just proper duplicate questions from past weeks and months of Q&As that I remember, I won't include it. So this one, it's kind of alright because there's been some changes. So in my team right now, we have 6 members technically. 7 including our manager, but the active roster is myself in top lane, Vale in jungle, Thor in mid lane, Fire's AD carry, and Red Movement as support, and then Duffman as the analyst. So that is who is in the current team, and then we have Zelwa, who is the head of EGL, as our manager. Thanks for the question. Next one is Wesley van Juttenborg. I'm so bad at like Nordic names. Dota or League? Okay. So for those who don't follow me on the social medias, I kind of made a kind of funny joke on Twitter and Facebook yesterday, as when EU West went totally down. If you're not aware, if you're in the Americas, EU West went down for a whole day. 23 hours and 57 minutes. Riot Draggles kind of said, but it was that long, pretty much a whole day. Couldn't even log in. And I went on Steam, I downloaded Dota 2, and pretty much on my, if you're aware of Steam, on the friend page, you can kind of see who you are, what they're playing, and you know if they're in game. So I print screened Huz in game Dota 2 and posted that picture up, which was pretty funny. But obviously I'm gonna say League's my love, and I actually did play Dota yesterday, and I don't really see you know it's not a terrible game. Yeah, I prefer League. But let them do their thing, let us do our thing. And that's the one thing I just want to quickly say. The difference between the communities, I feel, is the League community, from what I've experienced, or the vast majority, doesn't give any cares what the Dota people think, do, or what they're playing. Honestly, I don't give a care. They play their game, I'll play mine. But it seems the Dota community really do go on their way to bash League of Legends and the community. You know, if you go on the Reddits, I've occasionally gone on like the Dota 2 Reddit. There's normally a post on the main Dota 2 Reddit front page that is bashing League of Legends in some way. We've never had that in Dota 2. A lot of the time we actually say, this is actually good in Dota 2, let's put it in League. And yeah, it's just a difference of community, and I never understand it. Next question. Okay. This is from Chimney Sidhar. You're trapped in LoL forever. Pick a champion to become and why. That's a pretty cool question. I actually like the questions. Thank you, Chimney. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Hopefully it is. If not, I'm saying it wrong because I'm terrible with names. What champion would I be? So firstly, although it's appealing to have boobs, I wouldn't. I'd become a male. So that kind of rules out half the champions in League of Legends. If I had to pick one... Jax. I'd pick Jax. So Jax right now is OP, and if it's me, you know, it's my thought process inside the body of Jax. Then obviously I have his strength, I have his skills, etc. But I'll go find a real weapon, and then I'd be even more OP, because I don't think what Jax hasn't really thought about. I don't know, kill that Tryndamere who's opposite you, and then take his sword. I'd do that. Then I have a real weapon, and then what? I'm unstoppable. That sounds like a good idea. So yeah, I'd become Jax, because then I can make him unstoppable, even though he's very OP now. Thank you for the question. Next one coming in. Whoa, same guy. That's actually funny. So he actually did another one a couple days ago, but I thought I'd include it because it's a popular champion. So again, Chimney Sudhar. Hey Huz, what do I think of the current state of Jayce top? Does he get out of class, and is he okay for ranked? So Jayce is actually one of my favourite champions in the game, always has been. I love his playstyle, you know, it's like Nidalee-esque, but like the AD equivalent, but yeah, better. Because the AD equivalent of Nidalee isn't poke, it's like all in. or split push, where Jayce is like the poke AD champion. Yeah, I love Jayce, and definitely he's okay for ranked. I'd say where it starts to get a bit is tournaments and ranked 5s. I'd say he does lose his place a little bit, because Jayce is very, if you do not win lane, you may not be very useful. And in solo queue, it's quite easy to win your lane as Jayce. You know, you poke out a melee champion, etc. Junglers may not put their attention to top lane, but in ranked 5s, if you've got a top lane teammate that's going, I literally can't farm against this Jayce, you can bet your bottom dollar that the enemy jungler will be probably camping you as Jayce to get his top lane ahead. As well as, you know, if you're not ahead, the poke doesn't work. Team fights are normally used in tournaments and stuff. So Jayce is good, definitely good enough for solo queue. You know, if you've got just Jayce, etc., that's challenger with him. So I'd recommend watching his stream if you want to learn more. But yeah, I love the championing him quite a bit in tournaments, not in solo queue. And yeah, my KDA is actually pretty good on him too. So yeah, thanks for the question. If you're wondering what I'm doing, by the way, when I have a question, I literally just throw them on the floor. Anyway, next question. Robin Jaga Gur best champions for solo queue at the moment. So a broad question, I presume, for all roles here. Honestly, Kassadin, Jax, Aurelia, Shyvana in some light, Twitch, Braum, Thresh, Lee Sin, Evelyn, Kha'Zix mid, because Kha'Zix is broken now. Again, he's always broken. Better nerf Aurelia. It's hard to think off the top of my feet. The ones I just rattled off, probably them. Nidalee, AP Nidalee right now, in her current state, you know, she's going to get changed soon, so that might change things. But yeah, the ones I just said, I think I kind of went through 2 with each role. Okay, Twitch. Not a Draven, maybe, if you're a very good Draven, definitely. And then, yeah, that'll be it. So yeah, to answer the question, that will be it. Thank you for the question, anyway. Yeah. This is from Envy Ratsloff. Okay, if your name is Envy, I'm pretty jealous because that's a pretty cool name. Hey Huz, I'm kind of curious. Would you ever consider using Patreon in the near future in order to make make more and better YouTube content, or will I wait to be bigger? So I actually have to make a confession. I actually had to Google before. You know, obviously I've got to read out these questions. I actually write these down. Okay, you can't see that. Okay, you kind of can. Yeah, you can see the writing on this side. I write these down, so I do actually have to read them before I answer them, so I kind of know what's coming. So I can have like a tiny thought, and I was like, what the hell is Patreon? So I had to Google it, went on the website. Looks fairly interesting to me. It's basic, if you're not aware of it, it's a website that a content maker, and they could be YouTube, it could be a musician, you can sign up to it, and you can say for every video, people can sign up and give a certain amount. So let's say I made my account, and I said, for every video, if you sign up to this thing, you pay $1 to me. That's it. So per video, you give me $1 directly to me. Well, Patreon probably takes a cut. I don't even know how it works. But that's what happens. So it's more direct income to the actual content provider. And probably, from what I would know, is people can earn probably quite a bit off this website, I'd imagine. More so than YouTube. I don't know really how it works or how many people would do it. And honestly, would I use it? I don't know. As I've always said, I've never been in YouTube purely for the money. You know, the money's like, as right now, well, I'm not, put it this way, I'm not really in the state to think of the money because it's just a hobby for me. It's not enough money to make me really go, ooh, because it's not my job. You know, I'm a uni student. Yes, I'm in break right now, and, you know, it's basically my hobby that I just earn a little bit of money from. So all I'll say to this, if there are people really out there that do want to kind of support me in any way, you can either just say in the comments that, yeah, do Patreon and I'll make the page and see how it goes, or to just directly contact me and we can sort something out. If you really do, and I'm never going to ask for it, but if you do, you can directly contact me and then we can like do something over PayPal. I don't know. But I'm never going to ask for it, and I am flattered if you do think I deserve it. I don't know. So anyway, thanks for the question. Next one coming in by Niam Sah. How do people freeze lanes in certain places, and why do people do it? If so, can you still be aggressive? So freezing lanes is something that you kind of see in high elo and not in lower. Reasonings behind it: lower people, or lower rated people, are more impatient. They don't want to be standing in a top lane for 5 minutes, simply just last hitting, doing nothing apart from last hitting, keeping the wave in a certain place. The advantages behind it, before we get into how to do it, the advantages is you deny your opponent CS, and in theory you should be picking up maximum CS, because when you're freezing it, it's actually quite easy to pick up CS. As the way of you doing it basically is you're letting your creep wave attack the other creep wave for the maximum time as possible in a certain position in the lane. So think of top lane. You've got this is going to be hard to do. You've got one tower here, and then you've got one tower here. Perfect position to do it would be right in front of the tower. Not in the tower, right in front of it. Because you've got the safety of your tower just farming. And if ever the person were to push it, it would simply just go back into your tower. And then the rave would reset. If you freeze it in the middle of the lane, not really going to work. You can be ganked by the jungler fairly easily. Where if you freeze it near your tower, you're denying CS for one. And you're getting as much as possible. So how do you do it? Yeah, as I said, you let your minion wave attack the other minion wave in a certain position. So firstly, you have to wait for the minion wave to get to the position you want. And then you've got to let your minion wave kill the other minion wave. And then you only take literally the last hit. And I'm not talking about, oh, I've got 100 AD. I can last hit this thing when it gets to 100 health. I'm talking last hit this thing when it gets to about 20 or 30. That the next minion attack will kill it. And that will ensure that literally it's going to be as slow as possible pushing it up. And it basically means that it's just two minion waves going at each other, which normally would just have a frozen lane for a very long time. It takes a while to get used to, but if you practice it enough, you will get it, honestly. And it is a very, very important thing to do when it comes to, like, say, top lane in the current state of 2v1ing. A lot of the time, if you're in the 2v1 in bot lane, you go back to top lane as a top laner, the enemy has frozen it for about 3 waves, and you're about 50, you're about 20 CS behind, which is a bit of a bummer, but then you can freeze it eventually when he pushes it, and that's how you get back into the mix of things. So yeah, that's pretty much how to answer your question. And yeah, you can still be aggressive. If you're freezing it near your tower, you can call your jungler up, and you can do an easy gank if the enemy top laner is really trying hard to get some CS. And if, just quickly before I change topic, if you are wondering how do I counter if someone's freezing the lane, you push it into their tower. You have to take the risk of getting ganked by just hitting all the enemy CS into the tower, so then the tower will reset the wave, because obviously this method is that the tower isn't hitting it, and you basically have to make it. So anyway, thanks for the question. Maybe I'll make a whole video on that, because it is an interesting topic. This is by Nej Lavtar. Okay. Do I see myself in the next 10 years prioritizing YouTube or professional LOL if I make it that far? So the two paths you've given me are both including, YouTube or League of Legends or professional game or whatever. There is a third, thing. I'm doing a degree in computer game design. I have options when I leave. So there are kind of 3. There's like, if YouTube takes off even more, then I can maybe look to do YouTube for a full-time job, which, is everybody's dream. It's very hard work, and it's really long work. Like, people underestimate how long YouTube actually takes. Like, a lot of people I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And then a few months later, they're like, holy hell, this is a lot of work. And to do that as your job, I respect every YouTuber that does it as a job out there. So there's that way. If I do get bigger, and what am I talking about bigger? By the time I finish university, if my channel has over 100,000 subscribers, then I can actually look to do YouTube for full time. 100,000 subscribers isn't enough to really sustain yourself, but it's kind of that platform that, okay, now I can stay at home while I'm not in university for the next year, expand my channel even more, and then hopefully in the next year, then I can make YouTube my full-time job. Or professional LOL. I don't know if I'll ever be a professional LoL player. I just don't see it. If you think of all professional LoL players, and I know age shouldn't really come into it at all, but if you think of the average professional LoL player, they're about 19, 20 years old. I'm 20 years old in literally just under a month. My birthday is the 5th of July. So by the time I finish university, which I am going to prioritize, it's unlikely that I'd get offered a professional spot before I finish university anyway, because I'd never could put enough time to get Challenger or something. But I'll be 22, 23, and then I'll be like, well, I probably want to start my career now, because if you don't start your career fairly early, then when you're about 40, you're probably going to regret it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Life is something that you just do what's thrown at you, and you take the best option. So we're going to have to see. I don't know. Maybe you guys will be with me for the whole 10 years. I don't even know. Next question. So we've done about 20 minutes, 10 more minutes of this. We should make it actually through all the questions. And that's kind of what I aim to do. So this is from Jorrit van Genkel, I think. My writing is bad, so maybe I haven't spelled some of these wrong. I don't know. Because I just briefly write them down. What do I think of spell vamp on AP casters? Is it worth it? Generally, no. There's only certain champions that spell vamp is good on, and they're kind of the champions that also have spell vamp in their spells anyway. So Swain, he gets health back from his ultimate, spell vamp's good for him. Vlad gets health back from his spells, spell vamp's good for him. Because the majority of AP casters are burst, you just generally want to build AP on them. If you build a spell vamp item, you're sacrificing AP for spell vamp in the stats of the item. So it's not worth it. You know, spell vamp, I don't know. You like never build spell vamp on, say, a Syndra or a Ziggs or an Ahri, or I don't know. Like, it's just definitely not worth it. And again, this will like, I don't know if this is a question that you're someone that does build spell vamp on all AP champion. I don't know, but just do your research. You know, I always say probuilds.net is a very fantastic site that you can check what professionals are doing. And generally, like, some people don't like copying them, but you can just go, right, I play Ziggs. I'm going to see what other professionals or what professionals do. Click on Ziggs. Oh, they've been doing this. Yeah, no spell vamp in sight. And, you know, you get an idea like that. And that's probably what I'd say. But yeah, definitely not worth it on most. Only a very certain few. And even them champions aren't really played. You know, spell vamp champions is not really the norm right now. Next question. Rasmas Rody or Road, whatever, if it's a silent E. The best top lane champions for solo queue, 5s, and any potential matchups. And why did Rengar become so popular? Best champions for solo queue are generally snowboardy ones or just very strong ones. So you've got the trio, you've got Aurelia, Shyvana, and Jax, always strong right now. And then the other ones that are kind of more niche, Rengar, kind of leads to the other question. He can carry a game by himself. Tryndamere, very annoying in solo queue. Not great in rank 5s, but annoying in solo queue. Renekton, if you could snowball your lane as Renekton in solo queue, then yeah, really cool. And that's really 5, I think, is good enough for me to say. And then for rank 5s, the trio again, so Shyvana, Aurelia, Jax. Renekton is good if you're like kind of good at Renekton. Lee Sin top's actually pretty good in rank 5s and actually solo queue. What else? Trundle, very good. He's a good counter to the trio. He's a good counter to Aurelia. He's a good counter, all of them really. So yeah, Trundle's actually good against the trio of strong champions. Maybe not Jax, I don't know. And that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I'll say. Matchups, I don't know. Everything could beat everything depending on if someone mucks up, if someone jungle pressure, tower diving. Everything. Everything can be everything. And honestly, that's a very vague answer, but it's true. And then why did Rengar become so popular? People saw the power of the new Rengar from streams and videos, etc. You know, Ryan Cho, or whatever his name is, Ninfang, he was streaming, became popular again because everybody's like, whoa, this Rengar's one-shotting people. Because you saw on like Odd1's stream or Skara's stream that Ninfang, Ryan Cho, was wrecking people. And everyone's like, whoa, I'm going to tune into this guy. And then boom, the effect happened and everybody was like, yep, Rengar's OP again, woohoo. And I love Rengar, so but not a bad thing for me, although I don't really play him that much because I don't want to, like, Rengar's very, if you put your eggs into that basket, you've got to put a lot of time into him to learn him, perfect him, and that might sacrifice skill on other champions, which Alberto Zamora, why did I rush writing these? Cartina, I think. General tips to start a team. Okay, so rank 5s is a really fun thing to do, and if you never played rank 5s in League, I'd really recommend it. You know, it is fun. It's a really good thing. Playing tournaments is fun, but there are different types of ranked 5s teams. So the first thing you have to do is recognize what type of team you're going to be. Are you going to be competitive? Are you good enough to be competitive? Or are you just going to be a fun, not really a muck around, but just a fun, non-serious team that's just playing 5s for the sake of playing 5s? So I'd say only go competitive and be like, right, we're going to be serious in tournaments. We're going to do our research on opponents. We're going to nail down champion pools. if you're like Diamond Plus. Like, honestly, like the tournaments that I enter, anybody can enter them. You know, if you're Bronze, you're in a Bronze 5 ranked team, you can enter the majority of the same tournaments that I enter myself as Absolute Zero. The problem is that the tournaments are full of Diamond 1 team, you know, Diamond 1s all over the place, challenges all over the place, so there's really no point for a Bronze really to take that seriously or even enter in some cases. As a quickie, if you are British and you have a rank 5s team, there's actually a tournament on EGL this Saturday that is only for British people, and the prize is actually tickets to go to LCS in London. So there's something if you are interested at all. My manager will be proud of me for saying that. But yeah, definitely just know what you're going to do. You know, if you are Diamond, etc., then look for other Diamond people. Get a solid roster. Make sure you're happy with the roster before you take things forward. If you're like, right, I'm happy with four guys, but this one guy just doesn't mesh. He doesn't mesh with the group. He's a bit different. Sure, there's a place for him, but not in this team. Then make the change sooner rather than later. Honestly, it's the best thing for everybody. It's no point, if you already have doubts about somebody, get rid of them straight away, because there's no point wasting your time and their time if you already have the doubts in your mind. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, just know what you're going to be and then go with it. So yeah, thanks for the question. See if we can make all of them. Stefan Hassi, or Hass. Any basic tips for Twisted Treeline? Honestly, I don't really know Twisted Treeline that well. I've played it a few times, and yeah, I don't know. There's some great, I think, if you just Google like Reddit tier list or something like that for Twisted Treeline, there's some great Challenger 3s players that actually do like tier lists all the time. I don't remember the website, but there is one out there that focuses on that game mode. But it's fun. Every now and then I do it. But yeah, I can't really give much advice. I just know CC's pretty good. Tanky's pretty good. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I definitely know AoE damage and CC's good, because you normally clump as 3 in a certain area. Mr. Dino Brain XD. Will YouTube be my profession in 5 years? Who knows? Honestly, I have no idea. If YouTube takes off, maybe. As I said, when I finish university, and now 2 years... If I ever hit over 100,000 subscribers, then I can look for it to be my profession. If it's not that kind of range, then I probably have to go end up and get a normal job. That's pretty much how it's going to work. So hopefully we can get there. We'll see. You know, I'm going to try and just do my best to get there. But if it's to be, I'll get it. If it's not, then oh well. But yeah, I'd love to have it anyway. This is by Himuro Katsumi. When you reach level 30, what do I buy? Champions, runes, etc. Always go for runes. Cannot stress that enough. And yes, I'm a bit different. You know, I've got some Smurfs out there that, well, my first Smurf that is currently Platinum 1 with only about 20 games played. I've got both rune pages. I've got AP and AD. And I've got champions. But for the new one, the unranked to gold one, I did something bad. And honestly, it's something that I maybe shouldn't have done. But I've only got one rune page on that account. I've only got AD. But what have I done? I've only bought AD champions. That's it. You know, even in a support role, you know, I've got Thresh and I think I've got Braum. AD actually kind of works with them champions because they auto-attack a lot, so it won't be that bad. But yeah, I own a lot of AD champions on that account, which I should technically... Like, I've bought a lot of them RP. That is one thing to say. I'm different with people. You know, a lot of people don't really spend... on Smurfs or even their main accounts a lot of RP. What I do, I do buy champions with RP if I like. If I'm on a Smurf and go, I really am in the mood to play, let's say Darius, I've actually bought on my Smurf. I'm in the mood to play Darius, I'm just going to buy it with RP. I'm not going to wait for the IP, but yeah, some people aren't in that position. But I definitely prioritize runes. Just get an AD page and an AP page and then get champions. Honestly, you know, that's pretty much it. We're nearly to the 30-minute mark, but we've only got like 3 questions left. So we will answer all these 3 to wrap it up. Jack Spicer, Maud, Malzahar, and Swain. What are my thoughts on them? All are niche champions. All are kind of... I'm not going to say cheesy, but they all have their kind of thing. Maud is just a farmer, and I honestly don't think Maud's very useful. You know, I'm giving my honest opinions. Malzahar... Basically, the whole thing with Malzahar is win lane, lose game. And the reasoning behind that is Malzahar really cannot lose a 1v1 easily. He's got a dot that permanently can go people. He can pull them into a massive CC. That's a single target CC. Malz has a very easy 1v1 pretty much against every champion in the game. The problem with Mal's, because most of his abilities are focused on one person, you know, he's ulting one person, etc. He's so, then he's stationary when he's ulting. He's so easy to kill when it comes to team fighting that you're probably, even if you're fed, there's a very good chance that people will just stop you and kill you. And yeah, that's why kind of you don't really see Mal's, because he's not that useful after lane phase. And Swain I've always found quite fun. It's a champion I've enjoyed. But again, there's just better options than him. You know, he's kind of like a tanky mage, split pushing mage that does sustain damage. Well, Kassadin is a tanky mage that does burst damage and is better than Swain. So I don't know. It's just what you're kind of into. And yeah, definitely I wouldn't really main any of these champions, but that's just me. Thanks for the question anyway. The last 2 questions coming up, but some of them may be multiple. I don't know. This is by Connor Beck. Why do I suddenly like top lane now? I seem to recall that I left my old team because I was bored of top. Slightly true, yeah. The old team was actually the same one, but just under a different name. Absolute Zero used to be Fighters UK. And I played top lane for Fighters, and yeah, I got bored. Pretty much because of the meta. The meta back then was either Malphite, Shen, or like Aatrox, I think, from memory. And I hated playing Malphite and Shen. Now, occasionally I will play Shen, but I hate Malphite. I really do hate him. He's just so boring to play for me. So I was like, nah, this meta's too boring for me. I had exams at the time, or assignments on the time, so I just said, yeah, find a new top laner that likes the current meta and maybe is a less busy. Well, the current meta right now in top lane, I really do like, and a lot of people may say, what happens if the meta switches again? I won't mind. You know, if Malphite does become popular, then so be it. I think I've matured as a player quite a bit. That, you know, I will just play, you know, before I was someone that just couldn't stay on one champion. I've been playing this champion, that champion, this champion, all different games. Now I can play 10 Shyvana games in a row, and it doesn't bother me. I think I've matured as a player, and I've kind of realised you play what's strong when you're in a rank 5s team. So yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind that, definitely. So anyway, thanks for the question. And the final question is from Skyle, I think that's how to pronounce it. How do you find a rank 5s team of similar skill level to you? So this kind of links to the other one. So you kind of got to go for what you want. Now, if you're a gold player, you're probably not going to be in a team with diamonds. If you're a diamond player, you're probably not going to be in a team with bronzes. So if you're gold, find a team with other golds. And there's kind of 2 ways that, you know, it's hard. I will flat out say it's hard for those who don't have other friends in League, you know, real life friends, etc., that play League of Legends. It is hard if you're only like, if you're of the lower rated people. It's easy if you're Diamond, because if you just go on the forums, they're all like looking for Diamond top, and they are normally looking for Diamond 1. But yeah, if you are Gold, etc., there are teams out there that pick you up. I'd recommend hovering around on the Go for LOL forums every Sunday, because a lot of teams go, oh, we need a top laner. We're only gold, but our top laner's like dropped out, or we just need one. And if you sub for them for a week, they may like you if you're good enough, and they may pick you up. Who knows? But yeah, forums, just the League of Legends forums, the recruit forums. Just go in there and try and sell yourself, get a team, reply to recruitments, all that. You know, as I said, it is hard if you're not high elo and if you don't have a friend group to get a team. But you know, there are people that have it, but you just got to kind of find it with forums is the main easy way. Or just build up your own team. You know, when you're in solo queue, they're the kind of same people around you. You get a good person in a solo queue game, add them. Add another person that you find, add another person. Then eventually ask, do you want to play rank 5s? All of us. You know, none of you know each other, but you can make a rank 5s team together. And then you're all the same solo queue rating anyway. So that's it. That is all the questions. We did like over half an hour. But anyway, that is the June edition to the Q&A video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think I would have been playing like Pentakill music in the background, I presume, because people seem to enjoy that. But that's it. So anyway, thanks for the questions. I hope you like the answers. Again, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Comments in the description below of any questions you want for next month. If they're still relevant, then I'll add them. And that's it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. So goodbye.